Hey guys, I haven't really done an update in the garden for a while and there's some exciting changes. So today is November 7th, so it's been about 2 or 3 weeks since my last video. And our beans have totally come up. We harvested a ton this week, but the funny thing is that I thought these were green beans, and as they've come up, they're actually purple. But there are, we've already picked probably 150 beans. And they taste really good. Inside they're green, and then when you cook them, they're green. Well, we just eat them fresh out of the garden like this. And then over here, the carrots are starting to come up. I really need to weed. You can see a bunch of grass is coming up, but our carrots are getting bigger. Gosh, I guess I haven't shown this. So I actually pulled out the lemon cucumber plants. Remember last time they had pretty bad disease and they just weren't producing fruit, and there was mold and stuff, so I just said, I'm just going to pull this whole plant out. So I pulled it out and then I replanted strawberries. And then over here I had some extra kale transplants that I didn't have room for in the other garden, so I transplanted a little bit of kale, and then some of the kale that I planted from seed is starting to come up. So there's spinach. So this is 2 rows of spinach, and then this is 2 rows of kale. And then over here we have kohlrabi that's starting to come up. My garlic, remember when I planted this a couple weeks ago? The shoots are starting to come up, and if you break, now this garlic won't be ready for, I think it's 8 or 9 months or something, but you can break these little pieces off and eat them. And it tastes like garlic, and so you can cook with them. My tomatoes are really doing great. I'm getting tons of tomatoes. I'm gonna probably harvest these in a day or two. You can just see all these green tomatoes. This one has tons and tons of green tomatoes. And so if you notice, there's no leaves on the bottom. I had some more issues with blight, so I just kept cutting off any leaves that had those weird spots on them. And in fact, you can see there's still a couple leaves that I need to cut off. And then we have some basil that's going to seed right now. I'm not using it fast enough. And then my squash, like I've always said, I think I planted these too late. I don't know if they're going to actually develop fruit by the time the first frost comes, which is usually around December or so. So that's what I call the second garden. And then my fruit trees, I didn't get any fruit this year, but it's only the first year that they've been here, so that doesn't surprise me at all. On my lemon tree, I do have some buds, so I don't know if those are going to develop fruit or not. And then, okay, I swear this was a satsuma tree when we bought it, but these things are huge. They almost look like grapefruits and not satsumas, so I guess we'll see. And I really don't want it to produce any fruit for the first 3 years, if it does, except with the exception of those two, just because I don't know, I just wanted to keep them. But the first 2 years, you really want the development of the tree to go into building the stalk. And then over here, this garden is doing awesome. So we have Swiss chard, we have Bib lettuce, we have my romaine lettuce it's just growing so much. In fact, I put a post on Facebook and I told all my friends, I said, I have more lettuce than I can eat. And I had a bunch of friends come over. And so the cool thing about lettuce is that my mom growing up, she used to always say, lettuce is like breastfeeding. The more you pick, the more it will produce. Just like nursing. The more you feed your baby, the more milk you'll produce. So you can see here, these are the leaves that I've picked off. So when I want to have some salad for dinner or put these leaves in my smoothies or whatever, I just break off one leaf at a time, and then so that the plant will just keep growing up and producing more and more leaves. And then over here, my radishes are really doing awesome, and you can see, these are ready to harvest. I'm waiting because I had a whole nother row. So I did harvest this row, and then I planted new radishes. So here in Southeast Texas, radishes from seed to harvest are about 20 to 30 days. So I planted a whole nother row. And I actually planted them a lot further spaced apart this time because last time they were so close together, and I hate thinning. So over here I have some spinach that's, I don't know, it looks kind of funky. So we'll see how this ends up growing. I really need to weed my garden. Over here, my red cabbages are just coming along. I mean, these are right now just leaves, but they're going to start developing heads. These are the onion bulbs that I planted, and I've actually been, you can see I've been cutting off some of the greens and using those as green onions in my dishes here. My celery is really starting to come up. Kale, it's looking awesome. My stevia plant is going to seed, so it's, I don't know, but these, I like taking these stevia leaves and putting them in my salads. It adds some interesting flavor. Basil, everything over here is doing really good. Over here, we have cauliflower, and I've never grown cauliflower before, so I don't see anything really happening much, except that the leaves are just getting huge, but I'm just going to kind of wait it out. I did put, okay, somebody asked me about this. I put hay down in my garden beds, and that was just to help prevent the weeds from coming up, and it also helps protect the leaves, so when it rains, the water doesn't splatter and come up on the leaves. And it helps prevent diseases from spreading. So over here I have broccoli, or actually this is cauliflower, and then we have broccoli over here. Look, I have all these random tomato plants that keep popping up. The seeds must have blown last time, I mean from my spring garden, so I keep pulling these up, putting them in my compost pile. We have celery, Brussels sprouts back here, broccoli. And then here we have planted baby carrots. I don't know if these are actually going to grow before it gets cold, but we'll see. And then my peppers are still just trucking along. These are the most awesome pepper plants I've ever grown in my life. So we're still getting a bunch of peppers. Anyways, that's a garden update, and I'll give you guys another update in a couple weeks.